Welcome back to another episode of Prevail with Justice. It's your girl Geraldine. We are back with another episode. If you're new here, hey friends, welcome. Today we're going to talk about a plethora of things. This is really like a mind dump, I guess you could say. But I think that is something you'll be able to relate to. And there are three things that have been on me really, really heavy today since the last time. One is healing. Last episode, we talked about grief. So, healing has been a big thing in my life the past couple days. Another one is moving on. Shout out to Jonathan McReynolds and Molly Music. All right. Bring the moving trucks. We got to go. Number two is making something out of nothing. Because, baby, when you are faithful over a few, you'll be what? Ruler over many. Amen, saints. So let's get into it. Get your tea, your coffee, your water, your wine, whatever it is that you want to drink. Just make sure you can be hydrated, okay? And get you a snack and a pen and some paper because we finna get into these things. Now, I'm not a professional, but life has taught me enough. And I think experience speaks far more than any schooling ever will. So, boom, let's get into it. Healing. I once had someone to ask me, how do you start healing and how do you know when you need to heal? And I feel like there are several ways to answer that. Of course, I can't speak to all of them, but something that is on me heavy right now is you need to heal when you are experiencing something that you prayed for, but it is hard for you to exist in it. All right. And if it's hard for you to exist in an answered prayer, that means there is an experience, a trauma, a fear that is holding you back from being present in that. And so, how do you deal with that? How do you navigate it? How do you move forward? Healing. Because that means somewhere there's a wound, somewhere there's a scratch, an ache, or something that hasn't been tended to, and you probably didn't even notice it. You know what? I got an analogy. You know how you just be moving throughout life sometimes and then you probably go to take a shower or you wear some shorts or something and you notice there's a bruise and it's a big bruise. It ain't just no little red blemish. This is purple, this is blue, and it's big. And you're like, how did I get that? And you don't even know it's there. But now since it's in the open and it's visible, you can see it. That is what I think healing is about. Those things that happen and you don't know that they're there. And once it becomes exposed, baby, you got to do it. You got to deal with it. You can't just cover it up. I mean, you can, but if you choose to do that, you're going to be unhappy. You're going to be unfulfilled. And if that's how you choose to live your life, so be it. Last episode, we talked about having choices. You get to choose how you feel. So you can choose healing or you can choose to be unhappy and stagnant in whatever situation it is in that answered prayer or the lack thereof. You get to choose that. So when you're healing, you're tending to that bruise, you're tending to the wound. And how do you start that process? First of all, you have to notice that it's there. The moment that you see that wound, that bruise, that scratch, you notice that there's an ache, you got to sit down and be like, dang, that's there. Where did it come from? It's going to take you time to even be able to answer the question of where it came from. This is not an overnight thing. This is not a sit down and 30 minutes later you got the answer. This is a work in progress. All right. Like you need to be living with the caution sign with your hazard lights on because your answer could be anywhere. But first thing is asking that question. Another question is, well, how long has it been there? Because that's going to tell you another thing. How long has it been there? If you can identify where it came from or how long it's been there, if you don't remember, it's probably childhood. And if you can identify it, it's probably just subconscious and you didn't know that it was there. Number one, childhood is so important. That subconscious mind, if you have not done any research on the subconscious mind or the power of the subconscious mind, I highly encourage you to look into that. And one day we will have, you know what? Kenya, if you're watching, girl, you're gonna come back, all right? And we're gonna have a conversation about the subconscious mind. If you didn't listen to the episode with Kenya, we were talking about childhood experiences and love languages and personality types, all of those things. Go listen to that episode. Kenya is absolutely amazing. I'm gonna have her back. We're gonna talk about the subconscious mind and the power that it has on your waking life, your waking memories, your consciousness, and things like that. But a lot of our trauma is subconscious, and it starts from our environment, from our childhood even. But some of it is things that we listen to. If you're constantly listening to music that makes you feel like you'll never experience love, the moment you start to feel it and you reject it, it's not because you didn't see anybody ever love you. You don't know what love feels like. You're listening to music that tells you that love may not be readily accessible to you. So, and now that's a part of your environment. You can change that. So, once you've identified where it came from, or even that it's there, once you identify where it's coming from, now you have the option to change those things or begin the process of undoing, the untethering. That's what I like to call it. And that takes a lot of work, because when you go into a mindset, y'all, why can I not talk? A mindset shift, all right? A mindset shift. Um, a lot of times that subconscious mind is going to make you think that you're doing something wrong, or that that shift cannot happen, that you can't be this different person, this healed version of yourself. It's going to make you think that because it's not something that you have ever done before. You know, when you go into a new place and your phone tells you that you left something behind, but really it's right next to you, it's just not connected to the Wi-Fi. Your brain is going to do that. Anytime you go somewhere, it's going to be like, oh, you left this behind. No, you didn't. It's right there with you. You just have not programmed your body, your mind, your spirit to be in this new place. And so that's why I always tell y'all at the end of the podcast that where the spirit guides, the mind creates. If your spirit believes that there is something more, something greater, your mind is going to start to believe that there is something greater. And your body is going to be in places where greater is now available. It's going to be a fight for sure. But what you think, you create. So you gotta tap into that subconscious mind, the music you listen to, the conversations that you hold, even the conversations you allow yourself around. If you live at home with your parents and they're constantly arguing and they're not happy with each other, you're gonna think that that's what love looks like. And it may not be. If that's the only definition of love that you have, that's what you think love looks like. And that is not the truth. That is not the truth for everybody. And so when you want to be in a relationship that looks completely different, your mind and your body, if you have not done the work to heal and reprogram your mind to believe that something more exists, when you meet a healthy love, it's going to tell you that this is not real. Something bad is going to happen. You need to run. This isn't life. It's going to tell you everything it needs to make you get out of that situation. And that's not the truth. That's not what you need to do. That's not where you need to be. So you have to do that work within yourself so that you can exist in those things. And what does do the work look like? Let's get into it. For me, that looked like journaling. I am a writer. I love lyrics. I love language. I love poetry. And shout out to Common. Common said music is the cut that we bleed through. And baby, I bleed through a pen. I'm going to write out whatever it is I'm feeling, whatever it is I'm thinking. That's the cut that I bleed through. Some people create music, they create melodies. Some people sing. Some people like to draw. Whatever it looks like for you to get that out and release those emotions, you got to release those emotions. You got to go through that process. But as you're doing that, you have to take a moment to breathe and acknowledge within yourself that there is something going on that does not feel good, but you want to feel good. Take a moment, breathe, and be like, okay, that's what we're used to. We're going to choose to be open and move forward. All right. So if you're healing from a relationship, you think that love ends in heartbreak. That may have been true in the past. And who's to say that this relationship won't end the same way? Nobody knows. The rest is unwritten. But you cannot self sabotage. Well, you will self sabotage if you go into it thinking that all relationships that feel good end in heartbreak. So the moment you start to feel that anxiety or start to think that something bad is going to happen, take a moment, take a deep breath. Check in with you. You got to check in with yourself before you check in with anybody else. And that's hard to do. To monitor your thoughts, that's hard to do. Monitoring your thoughts is really hard, but that's why meditation is good to help for that. Um, but take a moment, check in with you, take a deep breath, and say, okay, in this moment, this is what I'm feeling. However long it takes you to do that, do it. And then be like, okay, that's what I'm used to experiencing. I'm choosing something different. Move forward. It's not going to be easy. No one's going to hold your hand and push you off the edge. You got to do this for you. If that's what you want and you want to be healed, you just got to move forward. All right? So, write if you need to, color if you need to, whatever it is that is healthy. Don't numb the feelings, don't pacify them. Sit in them. Sit in them, just like you would sit in a bathtub. You know how you sit in a tub and you lay there and you might sit in a tub until you are shriveled up like a prune. And then you decide at some point, all right, I've had enough time here. It's time to move on. You got to do the same thing with your feelings, the same thing with your emotions, the same thing with your trauma. Sit in it. Sit in it. Allow yourself to feel it. Feel it, learn it, experience it just like it were a person. Trauma has presence. Hurt has presence. Grief has presence. Sit in it. Acknowledge it. And choose to move forward. Whatever that thing is that you're trying to do. You trying to love somebody? You ain't never seen love before? Your parents not affectionate? Okay, sit in that. Dang, my parents have never been affectionate with me. I've never seen a healthy love. I don't know what that feels like. Right now, I want to be affectionate with this person, but I'm real distant. I don't want them touching me, but I do want them touching me. I want to touch them. I want to be able to sit with them, be vulnerable. I'm having a hard time with that. I've never seen that before. Boom. You got it out. Now it's time. Deep breath. It is possible for affection to be a part of who I am. I am an affectionate person. I want to be affectionate with this person. I'm choosing affection. Move in it. That doesn't mean it's going to be comfortable or natural immediately, but the more often you choose to move forward, the more natural it's going to come. And that's going to be a part of your paradigm shift, that mindset shift, and now it's a part of who you are. You can move forward. You can heal. And that brings me to the next thing that I want to talk about. Baby, it's time to move on. I don't know who I'm talking to. I know I'm talking to myself, but it's somebody else that needs to hear it too, baby. It's time to move. All right? It's time to move. Not even physically. It may be time for you to move physically. I don't know that. I don't know that. I ain't gonna put no limitations on your blessing, on your word. It may be time for you to move physically, but also mentally, it's time for you to move. It's time for you to stop making excuses. It's time for you to stop being inconsistent. It's time for you to stop not taking yourself seriously. Let's get on it. Stop making excuses, friend. If you are afraid, do it scared. That's what I'm doing right now. Y'all see me? My little Ugg boots. I'm shaking in them, okay? Shaking in my boots. But I'm still here and I'm pulling up. Why? Because I know the vision that I have. I know the glimpses of places that I'm going to be at, rooms that I'm going to be in, people that I'm going to be holding conversations with. And child, if I just sit here and be like, I've never done this before. I don't know what I'm doing. If I let that be an excuse all of my life, baby, I'm going to be here in 10, 20 years. That's not what I want. Time waits for no one. Shout out to Tim. Time is of the essence. Okay? It is. So we got to move. You got to do it afraid. You got to do it scared. Whatever it is, reach out to somebody. It can be me. Okay? Reach out to somebody who can hold you accountable, someone who is going to encourage you to do it afraid. And once you do, you're going to see that it's not that hard. There was, man, I cannot think of the phrase, but eventually you will become desensitized to the thing that you were once afraid of. So if you are afraid of, I see posts all the time, I want to start a podcast, I want to do this, I want to do that. Just do it. Just do it. You got to do it scared. And once you start doing it, it's going to become normal and you're going to be desensitized. You're going to look back like, man, what was I ever scared of? What was I ever afraid of? If you want that job or you want to get into this program, apply for it. The worst thing that's going to happen is that you don't get in this time. And guess what? Are you going to let that stop you? You get to choose if it's going to stop there or not. But if you move forward, you're going to look back in 5 years and you're going to be like, wow, I was so scared for what? Nervous for what? These emotions that we experience, they are so temporary. They are here 1 second and gone the next. Like literally, split second type of change. So you have to choose. Are you going to be scared? Or are you going to move on because what you want in the future is going to overpower what you're experiencing in this moment? You got to move, friend. You got to move. You got to move. And you're going to be so proud of yourself. Like, just think about it. You're sitting here right now. You're listening to this in your car. You're probably watching me at home. I don't know what you're doing, but you're going to look back at the decision that you make in a couple years. You're either going to be satisfied and proud of yourself for moving, for doing it scared, for doing it when you don't know how you're going to do it. You're going to be proud of yourself for trusting God. You don't know how it's going to happen, but you got the vision. You just got to move. And when you look back in 2 years, you're going to be like, I was so scared and it all worked out. Guess what? It's going to be time to do it again and do it again and do it again. You just got to do it afraid. And it's okay. You scared. You just got to do it. Believe in you. Stop waiting on everybody else to see your dream. Can't nobody else see it. It's for you. It's your vision. It is your dream. It's your calling. It's your purpose. You can't wait on anybody else to see that. You got to do it for yourself. You got to believe in yourself. You got to show up for yourself. I remember when I went to college, I felt like an outsider. I've always felt like an outsider. I've always felt like an outcast. But I remember talking to someone and I was like, this place, like, this is weird. Like, I'm social and I'm here and I'm there, but I still feel like I'm outside. Like, I still feel like an outsider. And so I was like, maybe I should just do this or do that. And the person told me, keep being you. Somebody gonna feel it. Keep speaking your truth. Somebody's gonna feel it. That person did not lie. So I'm telling you, keep doing it. Somebody is going to feel it. And that one person who feels it, they're going to share it with somebody else. But it's all about the one. I could be doing all of this for nobody but myself. But I know if I need to hear it, somebody else does too. How long it's going to take for them to hear it or to see it, I do not know. That's out of my hands. But I'm doing my part and I am showing up. And you have to do your part. You are showing up. You have to show up. You got to do it. Plan it out. Write it down. Whatever it is. Write it down. Keep writing it down. Even when it seems impossible. Girl. Even when it seems impossible, intangible, undoable, unthinkable, do it anyway. All right? Write it down because you had that vision for a reason. So, speaking of doing things for a reason, let's talk about making something out of nothing. Something out of nothing. There's someone listening to this who has not stepped out to do something because they think that they don't have the resources. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. It may not look aesthetically pleasing like everyone makes it out to be. It may not look perfect. It may not be exactly what you want, but you got to start. Just like moving on, you got to do it afraid. You got to start, okay? You got to start. You just got to start. One day I will tell y'all how I did what I've done. But today, just know I'm making something out of nothing. If you have the bare essentials, the bare minimum, create something. Get creative. Get creative. Everybody want to talk about getting it out the mud. What about everybody want to talk about getting it out the mud? What if you ain't even got that? What you gonna do? Y'all ain't getting it out the mud for real. Y'all be waiting on somebody to give you something. Child, get it out the mud. Get it out the mud. Y'all gonna look at this in like 5 years and be like, dang, like the production, it got so much better. Baby, I had to start first, all right? Something out of nothing. So stop making excuses. Y'all want to go down to Publix and buy some sugar cookies. Go get your flour. Go get your sugar, okay? Your little baking powder. You need to get what you need to get. And you need to just make it from scratch. Everybody want to be instant. Everybody want to put radiation on something. You want it instant, you want it ready. That's not always going to happen, friend. Sometimes you got to be authentic and you got to live on a prayer. For real. Live on a prayer. Make it from scratch. Start with what you have readily available to you and make it your own. And that authenticity is going to shine through more than anything else. So listen, I am done lecturing y'all today. I feel so much better. I hope you feel encouraged because you just got to do it. Literally. That's the takeaway from today. You just got to do it. You got to do it scared. You got to do it not knowing what you going to do. You got to do it not knowing how you're going to do it. You just need to know what you're going to do and just do it. You just got to start moving. You got to start walking. You got to start asking questions. You got to start thinking outside of the box. Write down that vision. Write it down. Every time you think about it, write it down. Every time you see it, write it down. Write it down every time you think about it. If you're a praying person, then be like, okay, God, you gave me this vision. You gave me the what. Now I need you to give me the how. And be silent enough to listen when he speaks. Be silent enough. So do it afraid, do it scared, do it when you don't know how, and be attentive to how. You start working and he just gonna open the doors for you. All right? In a way that you did not expect it to happen. So stay open, stay prayerful, keep the vision before you. Keep the vision before you and don't lose hope. Do not get weary in well doing. Don't get weary in well doing. For you will weep. You will reap. Not weep. Now you might weep along the way, because I know I do. So, weeping may endure for a night. But like I was saying, you can weep, but don't get weary. Keep going, and you will reap if you faint not. So I'm gonna catch y'all in the next episode. Be encouraged. Share this with a friend. Okay? Don't be the gatekeeper. Share it with a friend. And I will see y'all in the next episode. I love you so much. And always remember the where the mind Jesus Christ. Y'all just be having me forgetting every time. Where the spirit guides, the mind creates, and where the mind goes, the body follows. Take care of this up here. You only get one. And I'll catch y'all in the next episode. Bye.